Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and today I am joined by Stephen Patroni of AMAX, or AMAX, the Association of Maltese Arms Collectors and Shooters. And today we're going to take a brief discussion about what are gun laws in Malta. So we've been doing a on-again, off-again series on this, and I think it's always interesting to get a feel for what the different gun laws are in different countries. And I think very few people have any good idea of what the situation is in Malta. So you are intimately familiar with Maltese gun law. How would one go about buying a basic firearm? Say I want a shotgun in Malta.
We've had a new law since 2006. What changed there was that it became a requirement for a person who wants to buy a firearm to join an organization which is licensed by the police. So the first step in actually buying a firearm is joining a registered association or club.
Okay.
Once you do that, you have to undergo a course, a basic firearm safety course, which is run by these associations and clubs like ours. And once you qualify, you are given a letter of recommendation, which you hand in to the police with your application. So the courses are run according to what you'd like to purchase. If you want to purchase a shotgun, that's one kind of license. If you want to purchase a rifle or a pistol, that's a different one. If you want to collect firearms, then you have to go for a collector's license.
Okay. So there's a limit on quantity that you can get with a standard license?
Yep. So we've had changes in the law in March when we implemented the European Union Arms Directive. I must say that it has been implemented in the best possible manner without infringing in any way on what firearm owners already had. We've even had some improvements. So what has happened is that with the target shooting license B, there are no changes. That's the license which you need for shotguns, for muzzle loaders. That's remained the same. There's a change in the target shooting license A, which is for rifles and pistols. Now, What has happened there is, first of all, we had a limit of 10 pieces. That's gone up to 20.
Cool.
So that's an improvement. Because of the idiotic change in the directive around the magazine issue, something which obviously will not gain any points in terms of controlling terrorism or crime, we've had to introduce a new license, which is the target shooting license A special, which is for people who want to keep semi-automatic centerfire firearms with high-capacity magazines. So some countries have actually banned high-capacity magazines. In Malta, there's no ban on high-capacity magazines. What we've done is we've created this new license so that people who practice sports like dynamic sports, IPSC, that sort of thing, will still be able to continue practicing that sport, and they will still have access to high-capacity magazines.
Okay, excellent.
And if one acquires the target shooting license special, it overrides the old license, so automatically you can keep up to 20 firearms. That's pistols and rifles. You can take them to the range. You can shoot them. There's absolutely no problem with that.
Okay. And is there any particular difficulty in acquiring that license? You said you have to take a course.
Yes, there is this process whereby you first join a licensed organization. You have to undergo a probation period. There is a course which is done. It's a firearms safety course essentially, which is very important. Once you get the certificate from the club, you can apply with the police. Then you are called up for an interview. Once you acquire that interview, then you're obviously in a position to go and purchase and start practicing the sport. Okay. It would take, I would say, on average, a period of around 4 to 5 months for somebody who's starting anew.
Okay. All right. What if you want to carry a pistol? Is that something that's allowed?
No, we do not have the concept of carrying firearms in Maltese law. It does not exist. So that's I would say, the norm in most European countries. There are exceptions. Yes, there are exceptions. But no, we do not have that in Maltese law.
Okay. And then you talked about a collector's license.
Oh, yes, that's very, very important.
So
very
what do you... Obviously, apparently, that's what you need if you want more than 20 firearms.
Ian, I would put it this way. A collector, a person who intends collecting, has obviously a very different objective to a target shooter. And that is why Maltese law does not place any limit on the amount of pieces you can acquire under a collector license. It's just a question of safe storage. If you have sufficient space to keep 1,000 guns, then there's no problem with keeping 1,000 guns. That's not an issue. Again, because of the European Union directive, we've had to split the collector license into two. So there's the regular collector license, which is now for semi-automatic firearms, pistols, revolvers, rifles, whatever. And then there's the target shooting license, a special, which covers the collection of automatic firearms.
Okay.
Or should I say category A firearms. In Europe, we have a category now, which is category A, which covers automatic firearms, but it also covers semi-automatic firearms with high-capacity magazines.
Okay.
So once you have that, you have no limit on the amount you can collect. The only limitation which exists on automatic firearms is that they have to be manufactured prior to 1946.
Okay.
So obviously collectors in Malta are quite active. There are some lovely collections on the island, some extremely rare pieces. We are one of those few countries in Europe where you can collect automatic firearms. We have that facility. I would say, seen in the European context, we've done extremely well. If you had to ask me, is there anything that you would like to see changed, I would say yes. There's always room for improvement, and one of them is this. If you're a collector of automatic firearms, and obviously you're not new to this because this is what you do in your videos, if you are actually a very serious collector and you're studying these firearms and you're writing articles about them and you're going into the history and the detail, there's also the other side of the coin, which is actually trying out that firearm, which is actually going to a range and carrying out a shooting exercise under a special permit, whereby you can actually write, comment, review firearms, compare them against, one firearm against another. I think that is a very important element.
You really can't properly research.
No, you can't. That is, I would say, that is at this moment in time, that is the only shortcoming which I can think of, which can be looked at in the future. Because I know that there are very serious collectors who would like to try out collectible firearms, antique firearms. When we talk of the word antiques, this is very interesting. The term antique in Malta is any firearm produced before 1946.
Huh.
Yes.
Okay.
So the definition of an MP40 in Malta would be an antique firearm. Yes. And that is, we can collect anything that is either pre-1946, when it's automatic. We can also collect it if it is rare. So if you have a very rare prototype from the 60s, 70s, 80s, you can collect that as well.
Okay.
And if it is historical, if it has a historical link, let's say it was something which was used in a particular event or carried by somebody important, then it can qualify under historical, and you can collect that as well.
Nice. So just so I'm clear, if you have a collector's license, you can shoot anything except the automatics, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
But to do that, you'd need to have the target shooting license as well.
Okay. That seems like what most people would probably do, is have both.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a very good reasoning behind that, because the collector license was not going to go into the issue of safe handling. Whereas if you have the target shooting license, you've already gone down that path, you've already been certified that you can shoot firearms responsibly without any danger to anybody. Okay. So once you have the combination of the two licenses, whatever is semi-automatic and is on your collector license can be taken to the range. So the only exception is for autos, and that's the only bit which I would like to see amended in future, especially for people who have a very specific desire to research firearms and to write about them. Exactly what you do.
All right. Well, that does sound like one of the best setups in the EU.
It is, actually. It is.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for
joining
us today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, learned something today. Thanks for watching.